Happy Friday. Happy New Year. It is 2025. 2024 is in our rear view. Welcome to the first edition in our 2025 year of Staffing Mania Live, where myself and Rick the Shark Rosner, the Staffing Shark Rosner, we are here to challenge the status quo, to maybe upend some sacred cows when it comes to staffing, so that way you can engage, excite, elevate, and execute effectively to not just survive, but thrive in 2025 and beyond. Rick?
You said it, thrive, and my slogan is be alive in 25. Boom! We are going to bring the hammer down in 25. Here we are.
I love it. So it's been an exciting few weeks here for us. You know, we kicked off in the middle of December. We kicked off our 12 metrics of Christmas, really homing in on the metrics that we felt mattered the most, and we wanted to continue that conversation. But also we want to thank all of you for your amazing engagement and participation, challenging, questioning, leaning in with us, helping recognize that sometimes those surface level KPIs and metrics, maybe we need to dig a little bit deeper to not just tackle the symptoms, but the root cause, the root thing that is going to move the needle forward and help you better engage and accelerate your staffing for the new year.
You got it. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for 24 and get ready for 25. Oh, yeah. I had to say that. Yeah. I'm ready now, Amy. You ready to rock and roll? Because I tell you what, we got a lot of participation the last 3 weeks. I'm going to tell you, shout out to everybody that jumped in. We have our yays, our nays, but you know what? At the end of the day, we want that. We want people to talk about, to tweak these for us.
Yeah. And I mean, like we said, there are no silver bullets when it comes to metrics and what you measure. I think first and foremost, as an organization, like we've talked about before, you have to first fully get clear on what it is you want and where it is you're trying to go. And then from there, really take time to think about what metrics are going to help us most effectively measure our progress, our success, and also spot maybe where we might be encountering some barriers, some blockades, some things that are preventing us from achieving our optimal level of success. I think that's the first and foremost with any metric. We could debate which ones are more important or which ones aren't, and it might be based on whatever technology you've adopted, what processes you have in place, what roles you have within your organization, or the financial or strategic growth goals that you might have. But all of it at the end of the day is helping you just maybe think a little bit more broadly, maybe a little bit deeper, broad and deep, breadth and depth, right, across the organization to help, like I said, empower you so that way you can more effectively engage, execute, and accelerate for the new year.
You got that. So staffing firms out there this year, be open-minded. I got to tell you, Amy, seriously, be open-minded. These 12 metrics, if you only use 6 of them, hell, you're going to be better off than you were last year.
Exactly. And know at the end of the day, they're just metrics. They're just numbers. So
calm down, everybody.
So the risk of employing a few aren't going to necessarily completely upend or upset what you do. It may actually broaden your mind, broaden your eyes, broaden your view a little bit, but the risk is very little. It's funny. When I was very little, my last name is Yakowski. When I was very little, I had this night dress that just had a giant Y on it, because Yakowski, but it said Y and then underneath it, not. And I think that should be our mantra. One of our mantras for 2025 is why not? Why not try it? What's the risk? Give it a shot. Why not?
What do you got to lose? Woo! Staffing mania, nothing at all besides some entertainment. And we call it valuetainment this year, right, Amy? It's all about valuetainment.
That's right. That's what we try to bring. We try to bring a little bit of our, quirky selves, our little bit of shake the tree-ness, right? We like to poke the bear a little bit and shake the tree, upset the status quo, upset what is. But at the end of the day, we want to not just have this be opinion, but have this be ideas, some things that you can explore and try out in your organization and see what works and what doesn't. It's like what Sierra always says. She's like, you can have a big toolbox. You pick out the tools you want to use and you leave the rest. You decide which ones you want to use. And that's the same thing with these metrics. Some of them may really speak to you. Some of them you may find value, and others maybe not so much. And that's okay.
I got to tell you, 2024, can't even talk right now. That actually, a lot of people, I think the metrics, they didn't apply them all. I mean, everybody said they were struggling. So what are you going to do in 25? Use the same metrics?
Yeah.
Same playbook? You're going to lose again? Come on, guys. It's time to win.
It's right. You got to design some new plays.
Yeah.
Maybe you have to recruit some new players, or maybe move some of those players around and see where they actually can best execute. That might be different than the role they have today. Or you might have someone that's a little bit of a flex player that can wear a couple different hats and play a couple different positions or roles within your organization. All of these things, especially in today's market, which we constantly hear, oh, the market, it was a down market. It's a challenging market. Who knows what's going to happen next? You're right. You never know what is going to happen next. So be a little bit agile, be a little bit more nimble with how you operate, but still ensuring that you're staying moving forward, you're making meaningful progress, and you're measuring it effectively to be able to know when to pivot and when to keep driving forward.
You got it. Stop complaining and creating. There it is, right there, my peeps. Like that.
That's like a hashtag right there.
You know it. You know me and my 2 words all the time. But no, all joking aside, we got a little stop today. So you want to jump into a couple of these metrics, Amy, while we're at it?
Yeah, so we talked about the first 6 the last time we met. And so we wanted to just touch on a couple more here and just give our 2-cent summary of some of them. So when we think about health, health is a big one for me. And I think that health within an organization, whether it's organizational health, whether it's candidate health, whether it's client health, whatever it might be, health is really important. And health, just like in our bodies, it's not just one thing. It's not just your weight. It's not just your skin tone or your pallor. There's a lot going on holistically within your own body that is also true within your organization. And so when we think about this idea of candidate health, it's looking at the overall relationship beyond maybe just how many times you've placed them or, how many referrals they've given you. It's looking at holistically all of the different things that are either symptoms, signals, or root causes or root value of this individual. And so I think when it comes to candidate health, yes, it's asking you to look at a bunch of different elements, but those elements collectively can help you measure, just like when you go to the doctor, how healthy are you? We're both going to take your temperature. We're going to take your pulse. We're going to, bang on your knees to check your reflexes. We're going to look at some blood work. We're going to do all those things. Take a chest x-ray. All of those different components are tells about how healthy your relationship is with yourself, but in this case, with your candidates.
And I joke about this, but I'm going to say personal training. When I did personal training, the thing is, though, you don't scream at anybody. When you go to a doctor's, Amy, you just summed it up there. Do they say, whoa, you got to go, let me tap your kneecap and they scream? Your voice tone, how you treat them. When you go to a doctor's office, when you leave there, even if you have something wrong with you, they give you hope. And I think that's what we have to have with the candidate health. You have to have hope for them to get hired.
Yeah.
And I say something I see all the time online now, which I love finally, Amy, that is people saying, stop talking down to the candidate or forcing them in a job they don't want.
Yeah.
That's where the health part comes
partner.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be their partner, be their ally, be their guidance counselor, if you will.
Social worker.
Help them find success. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. Be their head coach, be the coach, they're the player. You know, together. You're not going to execute the play and get them hired without both together. But here's where we come at. So many people, here we go again, 24. We got to change in 25, y'all. They don't know how to talk to a candidate.
Yeah.
They say, I'm the recruiter, you're the candidate, I'm a notch above you. And when you stop that and say, no, we're equal, I think that's where it comes down to in the beginning, Amy. And ask them the pertinent questions about, do you really want this job? Almost talk them out of it, because that's what you want. You want to know the facts and the truth about that candidate.
Yeah. And I think that's a great point. In fact, there are very few, but some conversations I've had recently with some staffing firms, they even try to pressure test that to essentially try to talk them out of it, or really dig a little bit deeper to see, is this going to be the right fit for you? based on, location, demand, skill set, etc. I think being able to be a little bit of not a devil's advocate, but again, a compassionate but also committed advisor and partner to them is
Yep.
key.
The whole thing is, I'm going to say it one more time. Can I say it? Job agent, represent them, don't recruit them. If you say represent them, they would love that. They melt in your hands like M&Ms. By the way, M&Ms, you can donate some money to our fund too if you want. We have a tagline there. Come on, Aim. We need self-funding here.
Yep, exactly. What is it? Chewing gum and string is how we're running this thing.
Just start hashtagging M&M now, we'll be good.
Yep. All right. So in addition to candidate health, there's also this job order life cycle. And I know this was one that we had a little back and forth with online, but I absolutely loved, because it is true that there are a lot of different components to what it takes to fill a job. But there are, again, there's signals, there's cues, there's indicators of what maybe is to come based on what has happened to date. And so when we think about those job orders, it's not just the time tos, time to submit, time to fill, time to accept, time to start. Those are all important. They are absolutely important metrics that you want to measure, but it's also looking on the outsides, on the outskirts, the things that are led up to those time twos and the things that happen after those time twos are measured, that are an indication of the health, if you will, of your job orders and your job order management.
You got it. I mean, and seriously, the life cycle of the job order. I mean, sometimes I see staffing firms I go into, Amy, they find a new job order and they let the other one just sit there. It just sits on the desk, and they're like, well, did you put anybody here? Well, we submitted 2 people and then he forgot about it. Well, that life cycle is still ticking. And they don't add that factor in. There's so many factors in this life cycle that I think that you hit it right on the head when we put this out there, that you have to factor all these in. I guess, does it take time? But this is very important, because you know what? Sometimes when you get a job order, you're going to have 5 more from that company. You might be wasting a lot of time on one company with 10 job orders when you can go to another 3 companies that will save you less time and you got them placed. So it's almost like lifting weights. Are you going to go and, in 3 months, build muscle, or are you going to take 6 months because you're just wasting your time and doing reps? You got to put some, stability in there, and you got to, get it pumped.
Yeah, because I know that there's plenty of instances. I'm sure you've experienced it directly, and I've seen it both directly and through my consulting that I've done, where there's plenty of jobs that are out there that nobody wants to touch because they know it's really not going. It's not gonna happen. Like, it's there, but they know this client is consistently unreliable. They could work, 20 hours in the week trying to fill these jobs for them, go through the whole process and have the client just flake or cancel at the end. They're not worth it. So there's the time twos, but there's also like the overall, again, what did it take to get to that point to start getting submittals? And then what happened after we actually closed the deal? Did it actually stick? I think these are all really important, and they can help you better effectively manage the work that you have coming into your organization, but also going back to being an advisor, being a guidance counselor, being a partner to your clients as well, and being able to be more informed in those conversations that you have with them.
You got to be a freaking friend. I can even say it to your client. Bottom line, every client has my cell phone number, peeps. I drink beer with my clients. Why? Hey, I close it, but I'm going to tell you, Amy, at the end of the day, that's where you can actually talk about the job order and question why they're not moving forward, because the life cycle is with both. It's with the recruiter, the candidate, and actually the client. So 3 people is involved in this.
Yeah. Yeah. And each of them are impacted in some way. And we want to make sure that we're being good stewards for every single one of those individuals and parties, not just one.
No favoritism here. Referee right down the middle.
No. All right. We'll do one more here. We'll talk about one more, and that's the client placement satisfaction. I think this is a big one. And I know that there are technologies out there that also help measure this, but basically it's a simple question of just how well did this go for you? And it can be a very clear signal and indicator of, what this relationship might look like over the long run. If they're like, yeah, you know what, there was a lot of back and forth, or we had a lot of starts and stops, or it took a long time for the client to respond to me, or for us to have an interview, or I don't know, I'm going to take the offer, but I don't know, there was something that caused me pause. Asking the simple question can help provide some great insight. It's almost like you're telepathic, right? You're a little bit psychic. You can do a little bit of prediction of the future based on how well they responded to this, and get a feel for whether or not this candidate, this job, this client is going to stick and is going to stay around.
I love what you said there. And, I'm going to elaborate on that. I think the biggest thing is with the clients is the interaction and communication. We have been lacking for the last 25 years. I see this over and over again because they're scared to hear the word no. I love the word no. You got to communicate. And if you send them 7 emails and say, what do you think of this candidate? And they don't get back to you, then you know what you do? You get your AZZ in the car and you drive there and you knock on the door and say, hiring manager, do you want this person or not? I'm going to bounce them somewhere else. But we don't do that. We just send an email out and well, they didn't get back to me. I called and it went straight to voicemail. They're avoiding me. And then they just close it out. What do you think, Amy? I don't give up. I mean, I'm going to hack you down because you know what? You're wasting my time. You're either going to take this person or I'm bouncing.
Yeah, I agree. There's this great book by this individual. He also has a TED Talk. I'm going to say his name wrong. I think Jai Jing, I think is his name.
Jai Jing.
It's called Rejection Proof. And it's a great chronicle of him spending 30 days intentionally pursuing asks and opportunities where he was hoping to get a no, and finding ways to more creatively ask, more creatively present the need, the idea, whatever it is. It's such a great story, an example of ways that you can embrace rejection, and actually then get better with how you present in the future. And I think this is true, especially when you're talking about presenting candidates to jobs. You can, yes, all right, fine. They may say you have to submit them with this form, but you can still be a little bit creative beyond that. So that way you can stand out amongst the noise, and again, amongst the, 50 to 100 other staffing firms that are competing for the same business.
100%. I think one of the biggest things is 3 bullet points or 5 bullet points of why they should hire that person. Sending that submittal over is great, but you know what? They're the one big decision. You have to be part of it too and persuade them why they should hire this person.
Yeah.
And then say, hey, you know what? In 2 weeks, they're looking for other jobs. They're not just waiting on yours. They're actually going to be looking in the next 96 hours, or even if they don't have a job offer, just throw something out there. I even tell them they have a job offer. It's bogus. They don't have no job offer. And guess what? You can speed up the life cycle process on that.
Mm-hmm. All right. So those were our next 3 of our 12 metrics of Christmas, or the way we say the 12 metrics that matter. But we would love for you to share in the comments here, or you can reach out to Rick or myself directly and let us know maybe what metrics you are using that you find are really helping to tell a broader and deeper story about your relationships, about your engagement, about your service level, about your outcomes, that are, again, beyond the boilerplate, boring old KPIs that we tend to go to.
Boring. And you know what? I'm going to take it a step forward. If you guys want to send a video in, we'll put it out here on Staffing Mania. Let's put a clip out there. Throw us 30 seconds to a minute of what metrics you're working at, and we'll put you live on here.
I love that, especially since we're talking about how to stand out and be creative. Yeah, take your phone, record.
Send them videos. We're ready.
Video, send it to us, and we would love to compile some of your perspective on the metrics that matter the most or that move the needle most for you, either as a recruiter, as an account manager, as sales, credentialing, payroll, billing, any of those roles that are help in service to the staffing industry.
That's it. That's a wrap for this week. I'm going to get out of here, Amy. I'll tell you what, we have about 4 inches of snow right now. It's going to snow all weekend. So here in West Virginia, it is pouring down snow right now. Yikes.
Well, it is 74 degrees and partly sunny in Phoenix, Arizona.
Oh, just what I wanted to hear to kick off the weekend, Amy. Thank you so much. I love you too. Whatever. All right, guys. Well, hey, thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next week for more Metrics Madness. Take care.
All right.